correspondent banking issues.
That's why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region.
Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversation about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital.
The national CNT, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement. If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, strip the leg, control the body.
They better stand
Why you want the chief to lose so? Why you want the chief to lose so?
They already have two.
Why? You're jealous because you know the chief getting closer to the matrix. Let's go to the last part. No. Let's go to the last part.
The best laptops and tablets are at dbesttoys.com. Get a Gateway 14.1-inch Ultra Slim notebook or an HP 14-inch laptop at the best prices in TNT. Get the 5.7 tablet for $474. You can also shop the latest Amazon Fire Sticks. Call now at 32-DBEST to order or visit us in-store at Forces Flagship Matt Bean. Shop online now at dbesttoys.com. Free delivery available throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Cash or links on delivery.
Is the country's healthcare system more at risk more than ever?
Why it has remained unaddressed for so long?
Political parties get lots of cash, big cash from financiers, and then when they get that now, it's you can't account for it.
But it's really specialist nurses who we are in a greater shortfall for.
We can tap into the resources and have them, at least form some mentorship programs.
Highlight our food systems and which will attract persons from all over the world to come and experience something that actually supports the local economy.
We're lucky that we have a vibrant legal system that allows change to take place, and it's not that matters are just swept under the carpet and discrimination is allowed to be perpetrated.
Other people don't know that there were attempts to ban the carnival, suppress the carnival.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs, visitors in-store, horse flagship MacD. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
wesn.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish.
And I am Jada McLeod.
And good, happy Easter.
Happy Easter, yes.
It's been a long weekend, but we are back and ready to have these discussions and continue on. We have some good conversations this morning, staying on track with the political arena, giving you some candidates that you can listen to, and hopefully it's one of your candidates in your area.
Well, we also have the interesting discussions, the interesting updates for you guys to make sure that you are kept informed of all that's going on around the globe. So, of course, welcome back and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
I feel well rested after this long weekend. It was much needed.
Yes.
I appreciate. I think as a trainee, I always appreciate a long weekend.
I love the weekends that they give us, the long weekends that they give us. So before we jump into the show, remember that you can, of course, find us on YouTube or Facebook, where you can leave your comments to engage with us, with suggestions and topic discussions. So head to WESNTC now to engage with us, and your comments may be able to be featured on AM Prime with Naomi and I. All right, so jumping straight into it, we have some updates for you guys, things that would have happened over the past couple of days. So, and this is starting off on a not so great note, kind of sour note, the death of Pope Francis. Pope Francis has died at the age of 88. He's known for his humility, progressive views, and commitment to social justice. He made history in 2013 by becoming the first pope from the Americas, the first non-European pope, and the first Jesuit to hold the position. A Jesuit is a man from the Society of Jesus. The world mourns this devastating loss. Take a look.
In breaking news, the Vatican has confirmed Pope Francis has died. Just hours after an appearance during the holiest weekend of the Christian calendar, the Catholic world is in mourning. He had been in critical condition due to double pneumonia and a lung infection.
All right. So That is not the greatest of news, yeah.
No, I think that definitely hit the Catholic community a bit hard, especially being Easter weekend.
Yeah,
it was
right
very,
Sunday,
very random. However, that does bring forth a lot of question on what happens next with regard to the Catholic community. I know, so that happened. That was April 21st. That was Saturday, Sunday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, Sunday, yes. Monday. April 21st. That was yesterday. And I've been following a little bit on what happens now that the Pope has died. There's a series of procedures that will take place, similar to, you know, when the Queen died, there was a series of procedures that took place. They do have to appoint a successor, and there's something called the conclave preparation. I was reading on as a 9-day mourning period, and the term for that is Nove Nuptiales. I hope I got that right. And that will be observed. And then a conclave will be convened within 15 to 20 days after the Pope's death to elect his successor. And there's an electoral body, and it says only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote in this conclave. And Pope Francis, he would have already appointed about 80% of the current cardinal electors, potentially, and this will potentially influence the direction of his next successor. So I think to me, it seems as he already knew who he wanted. Ideally, they may have had a plan.
A succession plan, which is a good thing. It's a really good thing. I also wanted to plug in a little fun fact about this Pope, because we actually spoke about his recovery when he did get better from the double pneumonia, and to come and hear this now. But during his papacy, Pope Francis was known for ditching the papal palace in favor of a modest Vatican guest house instead of the apostolic palace. Or he was also washing the feet of prisoners and migrants on Holy Thursday. He advocated for climate change, which is a pretty progressive thing, LGBTQ tolerance in the church, and he was a great advocate for the poor. It's honestly a devastating loss for the world. But we mourn, and we, of course, give our greatest condolences to the Catholic community and to those close to him. Moving swiftly on.
Moving along now, we have a follow-up on the Harvard issue that with Trump pulling government funding from Harvard University based on them not abiding by certain rules or laws that Trump had laid out for them. So Harvard University is now filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration following a $2.2 billion freeze on federal research funding. So the university alleges that the administration's actions are an unconstitutional attempt to control academic decisions. So take a look.
Harvard University is now suing the Trump administration over the administration's threats to cut billions of dollars from the university's funding. It's the latest escalation in the showdown between Harvard and the Trump administration after Harvard's leaders rebuked Trump's demands to change key policies and courses even. CNN's Jeff Zeleny is at the White House. Jeff, what is Harvard University's president saying about the lawsuit?
Well, Jake, this lawsuit is coming in. It's being filed against a variety of different agencies and cabinet secretaries, from RFK Jr. at the Department of Health and Human Services to Pam Bondi to the Defense Department. Basically all the agencies that have some funding for research programs at Harvard University. But we've just obtained a letter from the Harvard president that explains what is at stake here. And Alan Garber, the president, writes this. He said, these actions have stark real-life consequences for patients, students, faculty, staff, researchers, and the standing of American higher education in the world. He goes on to say the consequences of the government's overreach will be severe and long-lasting. So, Jake, what's at issue here is the proposed freezing of funds of some $2.2 billion, and then a new potential round of funds being frozen of $1 billion. Now, these are are a variety of programs, but a lot of them are medical programs. A lot of them are research programs. So this is one thing that Harvard is really standing up in a way that many other universities have not, trying to take this fight directly to the administration. Of course, we should point out one of the reasons Harvard is able to do this is because they do have the largest endowment of any college. And so far, the White House has not responded to this lawsuit yet, Jay.
Yeah. So as we said, we will keep you guys updated on what was going on. Is this constitutional?
So I was looking at what are the laws that were directly affecting on Harvard's basis, well, on both sides. So Harvard, the lawsuit is coming from, they're looking at the First Amendment law, which is free speech and academic freedom. So their whole argument is that the administration's demands is not in line with allowing them to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. It would kind of suffocates them now and leaves them with no other option than to abide, you know? And I agree to a point.
But when we were discussing before, it was said that basically the Trump administration was well within their rights.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering now, first of all, do they have a basis? Does one law trump the other? Or?
I think that it will, when it goes to court, I think it will begin to unfold. I believe they both have a fair fight, a fair argument in the case. So another law is the Administrative Procedure Act, and this states, well, Harvard would argue that the funding cuts were implemented without proper notice or opportunity for public comment, violating the APA's requirements for federal agency actions. And so Trump did not, the administration did not give them proper warning or proper notice, you know, as to this is what's going to happen, and then allow the college to, I guess, fight their case or be ready for this to happen, because I do believe it was an immediate cut in their funding.
And I don't believe Harvard is the only school that's now fighting back. I think they would have inspired some other schools to kind of stand up. I mean, Harvard does have a large endowment, so they can stand.
They said, I mean, it is the largest endowment of all Ivy League schools.
Like last time we spoke, it was about 50 billion or something like that. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
They have a lot.
They do, however, I saw one of the laws that they both have in common that they would be fighting on on a different perspective is the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Yeah, while the administration alleges that Harvard failed to protect Jewish students potentially violating Title VI, Harvard could counter that the university has taken appropriate measures to address discrimination. So this law is just on discrimination of various religious groups. And so Harvard is saying that they were in their rights and they did abide by the law, but then the administration asserts that Harvard's handling of anti-Semitism on campus violates that law, Title VI, which prohibits discrimination on campus based on race, color, national origin, and various programs.
A question I have now, and I'm not sure we can answer that right now, we can always come back to it, is what was the response to the anti-Semitic, what was Harvard doing that was anti-Semitic, or that would encourage the Trump administration to say, oh, well...
Remember, that came from the
protests against the Gaza, the conflict in Gaza.
Yeah, but that protest, I think we could go back and look at that protest and try to understand a bit more, because I don't think the college itself had anything to do with that protest. That was a protest done by the students. They took it upon themselves and they did that, and Harvard did deal with it accordingly. But I guess it would have seemed as though
it was kind of lenient on their part. Like nobody got expelled. I guess he wanted a large iron hammer, but that wasn't the intent. But yes, I don't know which side to stand on, but I do wish them a speedy speedy trial so we can get an
I think this
outcome.
is something we can keep a close eye on, just for the sake of knowledge and understanding what's happening there.
Yeah. All right. So moving Sophia along again, Haiti is now facing a point of absolutely no return. Gang warfare, poverty, and much more. Haiti needs international help and help from their neighbors more than ever now. Check this short video out.
Haiti has reached a pivotal moment. As I have already said, we are approaching a point of no return. As gang violence continues to spread to new areas of the country, Haitians experience growing levels of vulnerability and increasing skepticism about the ability of the states to respond to their needs. The national security forces, while deploying their utmost effort, cannot succeed without a unified strategic command structure, free from political interference and operating under civil authority. In addition, they require more specialized anti-gang units, better equipment, and improved working conditions. However, and it must be said, without timely, decisive, and concrete international assistance, the security situation in Haiti may not change. Haiti could face total chaos, and your quick answer will contribute to the solution of such stark deterioration.
And this is a dire situation for Haiti, and she said she's requesting international support because I think they've reached a point where they need the help. They can't do anything else on their own as much as they've tried.
Even the United Nations, their resources to an extent are limited because they're blocked flights into, I think it's Port-au-Prince, into the airport there. At least 39 health facilities and over 900 schools have shut down due to insecurity. People are on the streets in poverty, cholera outbreaks are spreading, and of course, with all of this devastation, sexual and gender-based violence is now on the rise because there are less protections in place for more vulnerable populations. They're lacking sanitation, access to hygiene that we all take for granted. They really are approaching a point of complete sense. I mean, it was always bad, but now they need international intervention.
Yeah, of course. And I hope we will. This is also a story that we will follow and see where it goes from here. And I guess we have to come together as
regional cooperation. First of all, I think CARICOM. I mean, I know that Haiti is not currently a part of CARICOM because they are quite unstable right now, as we see. But I do believe we're neighbors. You always help out a neighbor. So if there's anything that CARICOM can be done, I think it's best to call on them, as well as we may not have all of the resources. So we do need help from the larger global powers. And not to show how it would work out, that's some research that we would have to do. But as of right now, we'll just keep, as you said, keep a close eye on this developing situation. But guys, pray for Haiti.
Yes. Haiti, for sure. So we'll do, we have one more, and this is President Trump has indicated that the U.S. may abandon its efforts in the Russia-Ukraine peace talks if no progress is made soon. So this development raises questions about the future of the conflict and America's role in international diplomacy. Have a look.
The Trump administration says it is prepared to walk away from peace talks with Russia and Ukraine if both sides do not make some progress, and soon. This comes as the White House may also be preparing to deport more migrants under a rarely invoked wartime act that allows for deportations without due process. CBS's Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
President Trump says time is running out for Ukraine and Russia to reach a deal to end their war.
No specific number of days, but quickly.
During a meeting with European allies, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. is preparing to walk away from diplomacy talks unless progress is made in the coming days.
We've reached a point where we have other things we have to focus on. We're prepared to be engaged in this as long as it takes, but not indefinitely, not without progress.
Trump laid out what he wants to see when talks resume next week.
My whole life has been one big negotiation, and I know when people are playing us, and I know when they're not, and I have to see an enthusiasm to want to end it.
I think the biggest question we all have from that is how with this? How would a U.S. withdrawal from a peace negotiation, affect the dynamics?
Not just between Ukraine and Russia, but
on a global scale.
Yeah. Because this thing that's going on between Russia, I mean, Russia is an aggressor. Naturally, they have a lot of power, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of gadgets, lots of weapons, and a lot of good research in like nuclear, those sorts of things.
They have an advantage.
They have an advantage. If they're ticked off enough, God bless the world.
Yes. No, but I think though, well, to me it's obvious. It's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to ensure that, or hoping that by saying this, it comes as a threat. It's a threat.
Pressure. He's trying to put pressure
on them, like, hey, like, let's get it together. We're going to pull out if you all don't get your act in an order.
The agreement that the U.S. put forward, Ukraine accepted in full without any real, they didn't fight back on it at all. It's Russia that didn't like the terms of the agreement. So it brings into the conversation, does Russia want the war? Want the war. But I mean, the U.S. pulling out of something like this?
I think that's a bit much. So I'm hoping all it is just a threat.
I mean,
because I don't think the world can afford something like this. It seems like it could blow up into something existential that I don't think we can handle.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be anything more than they propose a good agreement, both sides, they compromise, and they agree to just keep the peace, because they're right next to each other, right next to each other. So, yes.
We'll follow that as well. And once we get updates on that, we can discuss it some more.
So we're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with you. Stay with us.
The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-79 for more information.
When good private healthcare is affordable.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website, www.fanzonett.com, for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa, debit, and credit cards. Visit our website, fanzonett.com, to make your purchase today.
Every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandpoint Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have a famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservation at 629-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandpointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
All right, welcome back to the program. So we are jumping into our conversation now. This is a series that we've been having for the past couple weeks leading up to the general election. Getting to know your candidate. So this morning, as the general election approaches, the political spotlight intensifies. So on different constituencies across the nation. Today, again, we shift our focus to Toco Sangre Grande. This election cycle, voters in Toco Sangre Grande have a four-way choice. Incumbent Roger Monroe of the People's National Movement, who seeks re-election. Nabila Green, representing the United National Congress. Elizabeth Wharton of the Patriotic Front, who we had recently, so you can go back and take a look at that interview. I believe that was Thursday. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mrs. Christine
Nwalo Hussain of the NTA, Mrs. Christine Nwalo Hussain. So this morning we are joined by Mrs. Nwalo Hussain, who will representing the NTA. She is not new to the political arena, and we will be sitting down with her this morning to discuss her vision for Toco Sangre Grande. Good morning, Mrs. Nwalo Hussain.
Good morning. Good morning to all our viewers, and it's great to be here this morning.
Yes, it's good morning. It is very, very, very early. So can you tell us to start off, how do you usually kickstart your day? What is your morning routine for looking this good?
Well, the morning routine for me is as I open my eyes, it's good morning, Lord, and I'm in prayer. Mm-hmm. And after that, anything goes. I have a routine. I have a routine, days that I clean and days that that I have, I go to teach and so forth. So that's normal, and then everything else happens. It's a full day for me, from morning till night until I drop down in my bed.
All right. So yeah. Well, I actually just want to ask, just so we can get a bit of backstory. You know, you're not new to the political arena. You were previously aligned with the United National Congress, and you would have joined the National Transformation Alliance. So can you just tell us a little bit about that shift in your representation, and what triggered that leap?
Well, first of all, I want to state that I never left the United National Congress. It was the UNC who said that they were not interested in me. And if you remember, it started when the political leader of the UNC wanted to circumvent the internal elections and go forward without it as the political leader. And I had challenged her by stating that, it is against the Constitution, and we must be always above board when we are looking at what it is we are doing within our own party, because it ultimately affects us, with the outlook. We want to be able to be seen out there as a party that is upholds, our values and our principles. And so when that did not happen, I said, look, I would support you because I really, do support you, but at least call for the two major events that must take place, and that is the National Congress and the National Assembly must be called in order to put things in place as opposed to making a unilateral decision. Mm-hmm. Having done that, I stood on principle. I was not interested in leadership. I wasn't interested in anything in terms of taking the position of political leader, but it was a matter of principle. I stand on principle, as you may know if you know my past, with my son being kidnapped, and so as a result of it, when I went to be screened in 2020, my interview lasted perhaps less than a minute when she said, "You challenged me, and you will never be in in a part of this again. And so I didn't say anything about it. I'm not there for power. I'm not there for position. And I continued on my merry way, you know, being contented, going back to, you know, civilian life, you know, out of the public life. And it was in 2022, I believe, or 23. Gary called me and asked me if I would help him. And I said, sure, I would help you, but I don't want any position. I don't want to be in the forefront. I'll do everything in the background for you if you wish. And he said, no, I don't want anybody in the background. I want you in the forefront. And I said, but I'm not really interested in the political life. But I support him because I've worked with Gary in government, when we were in government, under the PP government. And he's an action-oriented person. He's a person that if he says he's going to do X, he will do it. If he says that, let me think about it because I want to understand what are the issues surrounding this. And he goes through it, he will go through the legal framework, he will go through everything. And if it's above board, he would say yes. And if he says, you know, I don't think this is kosher, he would not do it. And I've always admired him for that. So that when he asked for my help, you know, I felt I was supporting a leader who stood on the same principles that I support. And so this is how come I came on board. It wasn't really my intention to run. As I said, I love doing the work in the background, and I don't mind being a face. But when it came down to asking, he asked if I would go for Toko Sandy Grande, and I said, why not? You know, I have an affiliation with the region because of being the MP for Kamoto Manzanilla. And Kamoto Manzanilla, I tell you, is a beautiful, beautiful constituency. I loved taking care of Kamoto Manzanilla. I made a commitment to the people, even though I was in opposition. And that is that I wanted to leave Kamoto Manzanilla better than I found it. And so there were a couple of projects that I did, in fact, work on, in spite of the fact that I was in opposition. And I, in my humble opinion, I think I left there much better than I met it. And I give you two projects that I did there. The first one was I don't know if you go to Manzanilla often and you pass through in the back of Paul Street onto Deuteram. There was a one-lane bridge that you had to wait on one side and wait for all the cars to pass. That's by the masjid. And when I went there, I was like, I used to travel there as a child, you know, and I was like, how come, you know, governments come, governments go, MPs come, MPs go, and they never thought about expanding this bridge. And so I made representation, and you pass there today, and it's a two-lane bridge. And so I feel so accomplished in being able to leave the infrastructure much better than I left it. And of course, when we have Fishing Pond is a very neglected village. And as a matter of fact, I sort of adopted it. And even I adopted the school and used to take the children on field trips and so forth. And the road was bad. When I tell you bad, I mean, it's like when I went the night on my campaign, it was in the night and I didn't see anything. All I know, I was just bumping up and down in the car with dust. I was eating dust. And I was saying, why it is you all brought me on a back road? And I said, Minister, this is not a back road, you know. This is a major, thoroughfare. And I was like, what? And I traveled through that area weekly. I went through my constituency weekly. And I went with my glass down, and they would ask, but, you know, MP, your car getting dirty inside. And I said, listen to me. These people have to live eating this dust every day, one day a week. You know, I can affiliate myself with their suffering.
Yes.
And so the last thing I did was to ensure that road, Fishing Pond Road, from Fishing Pond to Limon, was in fact paved. And so I left the place better than I met it. And being the Minister of the People and Social Development, we would have gotten a report from the UNDP that said that the region of Sandy Grande is extremely impoverished. And so not having not being in the UNC and wanting to finish our work in the region, I thought Toko Sandegrani was in fact, an ideal place to complete what I started. What I did for Komodo Manzanilla, I would certainly love to do for the people of Toko Sandegrani. I'm not making any promises. But I have a desire and a heart for the people. They're somewhat familiar with me because I have been in Toko Sandegrani and utilizing various hats. I was the advisor to the Minister of Tourism, so I was always in Toko Sandegrani, Grand Riviere, and Matura. I was also involved in agriculture, the Agriculture Society, and so I was also in Togo representing and seeking the support of the farmers of Togo. So I have many hats, that I believe that, gives me some sort of credence for wanting to be able to be their representative.
Mrs. Noel Hussain, you seem to have such a passion and a zeal for this. I can see that it brings you a lot of joy when you can have various accomplishments for the people of your constituency. So, but I'm backtracking a little bit to when you said, you would have lost interest in being at the forefront politically. So I want to know, at what point that zeal came back for you to say, okay, I want to do this for Toko Sandegrani, what I did for Komodo Manzanilla.
Well, I believe that it had to do with the political leader, Gary Griffith, convincing me. He says, Christine, you have to, you can do all that you want in the background, but, the people of Toko Sandegrani need people like you. And, you just have to throw your hat in the ring. So I said, I do understand that. We are not like North America where you have lobbyists. Yes. We are in the Caribbean. In order for you to effect change, you have to be in the position to change it.
So can I ask, because as you said, you seem so very passionate about the work that you do, but why lend your life to service like this?
Well, it goes back to my past, my recent past when my son was kidnapped. And I recognized that the current situation in the country already lied in the lack of leadership, visionary leaders. And so when we did the research and understood what was the background for the kidnapping, we realized that families were, the families had breaking down. There's a breakdown in family life, which of course would affect children. They became, lawless, looking for guidance, and really and truly, I did not plan. If you had told me that I was going to get into politics years ago, I would have told you you're mad, not politics. But really and truly, as Gary had indicated, and he is correct, the only way to effect change is to really get into politics. The choice really would be, okay, so which party? Because that is always the problem. And so many people would tend to say, okay, I want to go with a party that is already established because, I could get in that way. But sometimes you have to look at the policy and the ideals of the party. And when you understand what it stands for, and you look at the history and the record of what has been accomplished, you ask yourself, do I want to align myself, because this was my character, all right, because at the end of the day, you go in sometimes with your character and you come out, a mess. And I must say, and I thank God, I give God glory for that, I went into politics with my character and I came out with my character, and I thank God for that He kept me. And so when you look at Gary, I know you say it's a new party, but it's a new party that has made great, great, great strides. There are people who are asking for him. There are people who want change. And so at the end of the day, we're saying to persons, what makes you beholden to anybody? Is it that you signed a contract saying, look, this is my you have my vote for the rest of my life until I die? Or is it within your power? Is it within, your ability to say, what? I've done this, over and over and over, and I'm literally at wit's end as to how we can get an effect change. And so I am willing to try someone who is interested in country, who loves country. And you see how he has implemented so many policies that really made him a successful commissioner of police, that made him a successful minister of national security. And so as a result of it, he has the country at heart. And so we have the opportunity. Trinidad and Tobago is at a crossroad right at this moment to make that decision that they are going to, effect that change, and bring about what it is very much needed. If you look at our strategy, if you heard about our roadmap, and we use the word roadmap. Why? Because of the fact that, many parties bring out manifestos, but manifestos are promises, promises of what we will do, how much roads we will build, and all these lovely things that needs to be done. But the point about it is that Gary, as I said, is a person, and so am I. I don't make any promises that I cannot keep. And he is very much like that. And that is the one thing, above all, that I admire about him. He does not make a promise he cannot keep. And so when we were speaking about implementing a manifesto, he said, no, I'm not making any promises I cannot keep, but this I can keep, because I've proven it, I've worked it, I've done it, and I can say, yes, it is, and that is our LAMP model. Where we want to offer to the country, offer to the Togo Sangre Grande, that ability to bring about leadership, because leadership ensures vision. The Bible speaks about, without a vision, the people perish. Habakkuk speaks about, write the vision down, so we want to offer.
Sorry to cut you, but within the roadmap, are there any tangible, and they said not promises, but what is the tangible nature of this roadmap?
Well, we have our governance framework. First of all, we have in our transformational strategy, the first one is we speak about people and society development. Love that strategy. And of course, we look at how can you bring about the effect, the change, and the transformation. How can you transform a people and the society? And you reform education to focus, refocus how we educate our people. And we look at the STEM model, which is speaks of science, technology, engineering, and math. We look at entrepreneurship, because we have a society that is built. The education system is built on servitude. I don't know if you recognize that. You come out of the education system, and what are you? You can't get loans to be established as an entrepreneur. And so we want to change the whole way that the education system is implemented and applied for our young people. Our young people are so talented. I mean, they're so bright, they're intelligent, but what are they doing with all that they have? There's very little opportunities unless they go away. We have had brain drain for decades, and we want to be able to change that. We want to transform our society. We want to offer support for families through parenting and counseling programs. We want to look at investing in mental health and affordable housing, skills development for our youths, in the renewable energy and technology and agriculture. We have to learn to feed ourselves,
So, Mrs. Hussain, just to stay I'm staying on track here, but in the interest of time, I do want to hear, if you had to describe Togo Sangre Grande in 3 words, in terms of your vision for Togo Sangre Grande, what would they be and why?
Well, when I think of Togo Sangre Grande, I think of, if you said 3, I think of tourism. I think of agriculture, and I think of an idyllic village that, wants to maintain their culture, but yet grow and be transformed. And I don't want to change them and make them anything that they don't want to be. As a matter of fact, when I went in, I said, this is me. I'm not coming here to tell you what it is you want or what it is you need. You are the ones that are living here, and you could tell me, and let us work together to build what it is you desire for Togo Sangre Grande.
All right. So can you tell us, how do you plan to continue to balance family life and public life? I know you've had the experience because you've had a multitude of service. You've done a multitude of service. So how do you continue to balance what's to come?
Well, thankfully, my children are all grown up, and so I am very much, in a position to offer myself without having to be too bogged down by the fact that I have to come home to babies or anything like that. I have no babies. All my children are big and married and grown and gone away, and so balancing that is not the issue. I would believe balancing, having to work such a very large constituency. And I have plans that what I did in Komodo Manzanilla, I would like to implement. It worked, why reinvent the wheel, and that is that I would like to have several offices in the Toko Standing Ground. So there's always representation. I don't want them to ever have an absentee MP. And so I'm looking at offices that would look at bringing in persons who would be able to guide me and tell me, say, what is happening in this region, what is happening in Valencia, what is happening in Grandi, what is happening in Toko. These are the offices that I would like to have, and so that we can work with the villages, work with the villagers, work with persons, and say, look, this is how we're going to do it, this is what we're going to do, and work with the people so that they are empowered. I am not the one who's going to be empowered. They are the one who will be empowered to assist me in ensuring that things are dealt with in a timely manner.
Yes. Two of the words that you would have, two of the descriptive words that you would have mentioned are agriculture and tourism. And I do agree that both of those hold major, they have major potential in this area. So how would you tap into those sectors to drive sustainable development and job creation for its residents?
Well, what we are looking at, the area of Toko San Grande from Arima come up, there is very little housing activity done by the government. And so we are looking at clusters where it is we can tie housing, empowering persons, and entrepreneurial nature with agriculture, with SMEs and the tourism, so that we will have clusters that would empower persons and of course create job employment, and the economic activity will of course begin to take place because we have all these attributes happening at the same time. So we will establish, through our economic transformation, the modernized agriculture, which would provide food security, and we will embrace the tourism to create industries, green and blue, and of course, where is Toko? We have both green and blue economies in Toko Sandy Grande. So we're going to look at prioritizing job creation in renewable energy. Beautiful place to be able to establish that marine biotech, and of course software development, because everything now is really now AI applied. Not that you're going to have it full-blown AI, because I do believe that that persons need to be more in control. They need to be the ones who are empowered as opposed to being driven by anything else. So it's balancing. That is very balancing. Is going to come in where it is the human element is in fact balanced with the technological advancements that we have here.
You have a slogan that is kind of it's about people-centered transformation. So I want to know what does that actually look like in everyday governance? What would that look like with regard to you and your constituency?
Well, it comes right back to the LAMP model. The leadership really speaks about vision and accountability. Accountability is it tracks delivery, so that at the end of the day we are able to, you meaning the constituents can track my delivery. They can hold me accountable to them. I'm accountable to three persons. First of all, I'm accountable to God, that He's number one, but I'm also accountable to my leader, but I'm also accountable to my constituents. Then we have the management aspect, because the LAMP is LAMMP. So then we have the management aspect, which allocates resources effectively. You know, I hear the other party speaking about it. We're going to establish a ministry of efficiency. I was like, you don't have to establish a ministry of efficiency, you just be efficient. I mean, hello. You know,
we've had a crazy amount of conversations on that, and I agree.
I know.
Just
you
be
know,
efficient.
I believe that, you know, they were trying to, you know, imitate Elon Musk, but Elon Musk going in with his Dodge is ready to find and end systemic waste and corruption. And so you're not going to do that. I know you're not going to do that, because if you find the waste, you're not going to deal with it. But if you find the corruption, what you're going to do? You're not going to send your own to prison. So just be efficient. But for us, you know, the other M, which speaks of measurement, you know, measurement ensures that targets are met, and that is something that is lacking so significantly in our country, that, you know, targets are not being met, you know, overrun, you know, that's a normal thing. Those things will come to an end, and this is where we will save monies when we begin to implement the LAMP model. And of course, the last letter of the LAMP, which is performance. Performance drives improvement. I can always be improved, always, until the day I die. I will be always being improved. And so, as a result of it, the same model that is applied to us as representatives, the same model is applied to every sphere of society and every sphere of our strategies, our transformational strategies that we will be employing and guaranteeing to our country, Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is at a crossroads at this time, and you know, they're the ones who make the decision.
This is something that it is a thing when candidates are campaigning. You know, being on the ground and walking and just meeting various residents and speaking with them, finding out, you know, their concerns, what are their issues, what would they like done if they elect you. So have you been on the ground? Have you met with the residents of Tocosani Grande area, and how has that been, if so?
Yes, I have been on the ground. You would not hear loud music trucks for a number of reasons. The three major reasons, or I should say four. One, we were smack bang in 4 religious holidays. That was first the Hindu, the Muslim, the Baptist, and the Christian. And I just thought it was disrespectful, absolutely. That is one, although I counted 4, but that was one. The second thing was that there was SCA, and I just thought it would have been really hard for any young person. It's already stressful to go through these exams and so forth. I didn't want to add to any stress by loud music banging in anybody's ear. The other thing is that my granddaughter is doing CXC, and all now they were doing mock, and then they're doing exams. So I did not send out any trucks deliberately based on that. So if you're looking for me on a big truck, you will not find me on a big truck, and it's simply because of that. And of course, the blaring of the you will find that maybe a couple hours in the afternoon, but I'm on the ground walking, and it has been rather positive. I'm really excited, and I'm amazed at the level of desire of change that the people are expressing, and that they are willing to support that change by going out and vote. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Mrs. Nawala Hussain, I just have one more question for you as we close. So if you were selected as the MP for Tocosani Grande, but your party does not make incumbent government, how do you plan to work alongside the party that does become incumbent?
Well, I believe that is a discussion that the political leader will have, and I will hold that close to my chest, you know. But the political leader, Gary Griffith, will of course be guiding me on that process.
All right. So as we close, what are your
30
seconds? What are your last words to these constituents of Tocosani Grande? Why should they vote for you?
I want to offer you the leadership that you so desire. You've been complaining about absenteeism, and I want to be the leader that you can look to, that can be accounted, to you as the constituents. I want to be able to work together with you to achieve the desires of your heart, that we can make Tuco Sangre Grande a harbor of activity, that we can move out of that situation where people have branded you as being, indigent, and say, no, you're not that way. We can do better. We can become the people that you desire, and we can do it together, working with our young people. They deserve the best, and you can offer them that. And so can the NTA.
All right.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Come on, journey with us to the road to transformation.
Thank you very much for that. And we do wish you all the best moving forward and the rest of your campaigning leading up to April 28th. Very, very big day. So,
yes.
So thanks again, Mrs.
Thank
Nuala
you.
Hussain, for joining us on the program this morning.
And thank you for all the viewers. Thank you.
Of course.
Have a beautiful day.
You too. Thanks.
So we are going, well, coming up, we have another discussion. This one, April is Autism Awareness Month. So we do have a discussion that's kind of going to highlight that. And yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be right back for that conversation.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information. Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist. When good private healthcare is affordable.
Good morning, how are you? You need camera?
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag.
Perfect.
Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the
Great.
tag.
Getting ready to go to the
Step
interview
3.
and then
Search
look.
it. A quick Google number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs, visitors in store at Forces Flagship Acme. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
You really
Respond to me.
Respond to me.
How you would respond to me?
I would, first question I'll ask is what?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday. Like you say, we think going to a service makes us a Christian. Exactly.
Right, so we are about to hear the second time Pastor Jay wanted to take us out.
It would have been late last year.
Hope Unfiltered Podcast with Pastor Jay and Ren.
Welcome back to the program. So, as we mark Autism Awareness Month, which is this month, April, we're highlighting an organization making a real difference in the lives of children with special needs. The Caribbean Kids and Families Therapy Organization, better known as CKFTO, has been serving communities for years, offering critical therapy services and support. Now they've expanded their reach, and with a brand new center in Chaguanas, bringing much needed services to children and to children in South and Central Trinidad. So joining us this morning is Sophia Verguera Leon. She's a vice chairman and co-founder of CKFTO, to talk about the opening of their second location, the support they've received from the community, and the vision for moving forward. Good morning, Sophia, and welcome to the program.
Good morning. How are you today? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. Thank you very much. So we're going to jump straight into it, and congratulations on the opening of this new, of the new center in Chaguanas. So what does this expansion mean for the organization and for families in the Central and South region of Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, CKFTO was founded 17 years ago on the 25th of April. We will be 17 years. And we want to reach, if possible, all the children in Trinidad and Tobago. That is quite impossible. But now we are in Chaguanas. It is a big step for CKFTO, a positive one. And we are very grateful to the Chaguanas community for the warm welcome we received on the opening of the Chaguanas clinic.
You would have mentioned, Chaguanas chose us. Can you share more about how the community embraced your team and made this second home a reality?
Well, let me tell you the story how this began in 2023 when the Carlson Field Therapeutic Center was closed. We were providing therapies to the CP Society from there. And Mr. Metive, who's the president of the CP Society, he started looking for a spot where we can give him therapy, because these children have CP and it's literally impossible to transport all these children to Port of Spain, to St. James, for therapy. So I called around and I got in touch with Vandana Mohit. And she said, come meet with me. And they gave us a spot in the annex inside the Chaguanas Borough Corporation. And from there, it just spiraled. And a gentleman from Price Club called and said, come and see this space. He outfitted it for us. And the rest is history.
Nice. I mean, the support from Price Club and Digicel as well, this was significant. It was very significant for the organization. So what does that level of community and corporate partnerships say about the growing awareness around special needs and around the organization itself?
Well, a very much needed support is what I could say, and we thank them once again, and also Maru Benny out of Japan through Sandra Welch Farrell Company. They donated for the CME equipment, and Digicel donated for the OT equipment. I mean, we are very grateful. This is how it should be. Like I always say, people with disabilities are just like you and me. They just do things differently.
Can you go in a little bit and tell us, exactly what does CKFTO, do for these children? What are some of your basic or fundamental drives that push to help these children?
Okay, a lot of people believe or think that we just do therapies like speech therapy, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, CME, art therapy. No, we also do workshops like for teachers, so teachers could identify and be able to work in their classrooms with children with challenges. We also have a puppet show that we go around public schools and primary and Montessori schools highlighting. We have 3 scripts: the disability script, the anti-bullying, and human trafficking script. We also do intensives, so if a child needs intensive. It's not an hour of therapy. It could be up to 4 with different specialities. We go to schools and we provide therapy in schools. So, I mean, we just don't do therapy one-on-one at the clinic. We are out there as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have an ongoing partnership with IGT's After School Advantage program. How have technological tools supported your therapy work and educational outreach? I mean, because I absolutely love the puppet show thing that you all have, and I think educating students, even educating children about other special needs or about special needs children, because I think all children, sometimes a child, and they speak their mind always. So when a child sees another child and they seem a little different, they're not aware, or they're not, they may not feel comfortable enough to ask in a polite way, you know, what's wrong with you, or know how to ask. You know,
I think the child with disability wouldn't have a clue to tell them, you know, but it's just acceptance. And with regards to IGT, I mean, we teach the children through apps on tablets, iPads. And it has, because some children, for knowledge, some children do well with occupational therapy, others don't. Others like aqua therapy. And others prefer to do things on a tablet. Others prefer to do sports. So you have to find what the child is comfortable with to be able to provide the therapy, the assistance, the help they need. Yes, we would like to go more, to be more present in schools, so we can teach children and teachers how to deal or how to spend their day with children that are different, children that are special, that is the word, that are special, and embrace them as their own, because at the end of the day, they too are human beings, and they have feelings just like you and me. They just do things differently.
Can you tell us what are some myths that we have surrounding special needs children or people with special needs?
That they're non-functional, that they to say a word, that they're stupid, that they will never get ahead. I mean, these children are very gifted. You just have to find their niche. You just have some excel in drawing or painting, others in computers, others in marketing or advertising. You just have to find what they excel in and exploit that for their own benefit, because at the end of the day, they need their independence. Or we also have a social emotional group where we teach children about how to socialize and how to handle their emotions.
So who is under your care? Is it children with cerebral palsy, children with autism? Like who
all
needs to be
disabilities,
targeted?
all types of disabilities, and we are not a home. We are a center where you come or we go to provide the services. We also had a program supported by Digicel, which was sex and sexuality, puberty, sex and sexuality, where we taught the parents that, listen, these children are gonna go through puberty, so you need to know what to expect. So we do a lot of education as well.
So with your corporate partnerships, is it that it's almost subsidizes the cost? Like, let's talk affordability. What do you expect from the parents of these?
We work on a sliding scale. So we ask you to fill out a financial assistance form, and that way we can help you. And it is, I'm saying this straight out, it's not 100% free. Why? Because experience has taught us when we give our therapies for free, people would not show up. They would not call to cancel, so we can book the next client, the next child in. So some days the therapist would be sitting down for 4 hours without doing nothing, and we said, you know what? No. The minimum we're charging now is $100. and it has worked. They show up.
So how do you see this particular initiative addressing the gaps in care for persons with special needs? Is there an age limit for this?
Well, our vision and mission says that we see children from birth to age 21, but we have clients right now that are 36 years old. So, I mean, we've expanded.
Yes.
So
at the end of the day, some of them are like children, and
yeah,
they're human beings, and we have to care for them.
So what exactly is the therapy like? For example, I have a younger brother with Down syndrome. If he was to get therapy, what would the interactions be like?
Well, they will have to be assessed, evaluated by a therapist to see if he needs speech to learn to talk. I don't know if he's verbal or non-verbal.
Yes.
And he will need occupational therapy so he can do things like button, zip, dress, brush your teeth, go to the bathroom on your own. So occupational as in occupation. And art, like I said, we have art therapy, we have aqua therapy. And they need to be assessed, if you understand what I mean. We cannot just say, okay, that child there will need X. We don't know. They need an assessment.
Is there any additional cost for that assessment, or is it the same flat 100?
No, there is an additional cost, which we subsidize as well.
Okay. So what about persons who may just be hearing about this? Because I'm thinking about my particular situation. If we're just hearing about this and say the student is now 15, 16, 17, 18, can they still receive good therapy?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course they can. Yes.
Would it work?
Yes.
Would it, because if you can get them from birth.
Well, early intervention is key.
It's always better,
So
yeah.
it's always early intervention, because when you have a child that their brain is doing the pathways and they're very young, it's better you target them there. But we can still assist and help children who are teenagers.
Interesting. So you've had a very significant and successful bout of service in your life. You've been involved in many different things. Can I ask why? Why are you so service oriented?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. My father was a Trinidadian citizen, and my mother Venezuelan. I was born in Venezuela. 35 or 36 years ago, I had a child. I had twins. One was stillborn, and the other one had severe cerebral palsy because the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck.
Wow.
And 36 years ago, I had all the assistance publicly and privately in Venezuela. So I came here, I met a group of ladies, Hispanic, and we did a lot of work. We bought equipment for the NICU, air-conditioned the NICU. That was in the early 2000s.
Wow.
I got a phone call from Laura Pear Eskai saying, I've been seeing you raising funds and you're very successful. Can you meet with me? And I said, sure. When we met, she told me she had a child with developmental delays, if I will support her in founding an NGO. I said, sure. And then when I said, but why? And I did not understand that Trinidad and Tobago then did not have assistance in therapies for children with disabilities. They had one occupational therapy in the system, the healthcare system, but that was it. So you would have to wait over a year for an appointment. So I said, no, man, this cannot happen. I met with her. She registered the NGO, and here we are 17 years later.
Wow. So that is actually pretty amazing, knowing that you would have had that personal experience yourself. So in the broader scheme...
As a matter of fact, all our board members have some type of
personal
relative,
experience of
child, personal experience of children with disabilities or friends.
So in the broader scheme of special needs care, what are you hoping the conversation is going to be as you guys grow and you get bigger? What do you hope to inspire people with?
I would just hope acceptance. Acceptance, awareness, and learn that people with disabilities are just like you and me. And let's just take it a step further. I take my glasses off. That is my disability. I can't see. You understand?
Yes.
So
Yes, acceptance. Because I remember, if I'm not mistaken, having to wear glasses, that was something that was seen as a big thing. Just decades ago, that was a real disability. Now you see people wearing glasses, and it has
become a norm.
It's even associated with you being smart, and
it's associated with a fashion trend.
Yeah.
People wear glasses that are not prescripted.
Yes.
So what I want to see out of Trinidad and Tobago, its population, the government, is education and acceptance.
Yes.
Children with disabilities must be accepted in any school in Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, you go to an international school and you will see children with disabilities like you and me, normal like any day. You don't see that in public schools, and it's very rare that you do see it. They have the principal vouching for it, but there's only so much the principals can do.
So, in terms of that, those advocacy, I mean, what are the advocacy efforts that you all have been taking to get, special needs students integrated into our public education system?
Well, we have written, we have done a certain amount of awareness and advocacy, but in my particular opinion, I mean, we're very late, very, very late.
Yeah,
we are behind.
I would extremely late.
Yes.
So on your website, you guys have a sponsor, a child initiative. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we would like you to sponsor a child, and that is that funds that come in to the NGO sponsor children who cannot afford the treatments. And obviously you have treatments from psychology to occupational therapy to physiotherapy. So it's a wide gamut of needs. So when we receive those monies go fully towards those children interventions. I would call on the public to please press on the button and donate. At the end of the day, it's for Trinbagonian children who need the assistance, and we, through them, will be very, very grateful for your assistance.
Yeah, I just want to go back a little bit, and I want to ask, you said you all have written and you all have started doing things to get the integration of special needs kids in our public education system. Have you all been getting any sort of response, whether positive or negative, from the government, from the public? What has the reaction been? Do you see this working out anytime in the near future, long term?
The public, the parents, the relatives, I mean, they're on board, but we really do not hear from the powers that be. And they're the ones who make the decisions.
Yeah.
They're the ones who make the decisions at the end of the day. And they are the ones charged with the well-being of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and the future. You don't know. We don't know if there's a child out here in Trinidad or Tobago with autism or with any, that could be the future prime minister.
Yes.
That could be the future, I don't know, tech whiz.
Yes.
We don't know. But if we do not afford them the chance to the opportunity to demonstrate that they can, we will never know. And I mean, they're just like you and me. I continue to say this, they just do things differently. And in a, the words, in a caring society, we are determined by the way we see treat our elderly and our children. And as I said, we have a long way to go.
And even on that, when you said we need to foster this sense of caring, a thought came into my head. Is it that we just have a general apathy towards people with disabilities? Like, as a government, is it that we just see them as, there's almost like a lost cause, if I can use that word, and that's the reason why they don't put enough attention on this population?
I just see it as where there's a will, there's a way. And there's no will to see this done, to help. And we signed the United Nations Convention for Persons with Disabilities.
Exactly.
And nothing has happened. When that signature came, I was like, oh my God, we are moving, we are going places. Nothing from accessibility, from schools, from everything. Everything.
Yeah.
You want to test it? We also have a program called Simulations, where we come to you with wheelchairs and we make you feel disabled for the day, and we give you glasses so you can walk a little path with a walking stick to see how you feel. And we try to ask you to put things in a container, but we put your hands in socks with foil inside, so making it literally impossible for you to open your hands. And you will feel what it feels to be a disabled person. Try it. Pick up a cane one day and try to go to one of these supermarkets or one of the governmental offices and pretend you're limping, and then call me and tell me how it went.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Can you see this model of care that you guys are extending, this amazing model of care, to other underserved or underrepresented areas? Where do you guys hope to go next?
Well, we've been in Mayaro, we've been in Barrackpore, we've been in Moruga, we've been in Tobago. We would like to be all over the island, if possible.
Yeah.
So,
we are going to begin wrapping up, but for parents who may be struggling to find resources or support, what's your message to them, and how can they get in contact with the organization for this support?
Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. It's your child. They deserve an opportunity. Never give up. Give us a call at 628-3268 or email info@ckfto.org. And we can take it from there. We can speak with you. We will send you forms for you to fill out, because we have to determine what does your child present, what types of disability the child may have. If you have a report or an assessment, do send that on the email, as well as the financial assistance form fully filled out. And once we have all of that, we can say, all right, this is your appointment. Let's get the ball rolling.
Yes.
That is amazing. Again, that is ckfto.org. Go check them out. Even if you're not just going in as a parent of somebody that's disabled, but if you want to donate, if you just want to lend some support or hear more, definitely go check them out so that you can speak with them.
Yes, we need the support. We do. All NGOs do. And we're very grateful to Corporate Trinidad. And we also raise funds internationally to be able to cover the amount of children in need through Sponsor a Child. So we are very grateful to Trinidad and Tobago, and we hope to continue working with you for many years to come.
Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
The cause is outstanding. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Moving forward and with your efforts and advocacy. Yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Of course. We do hope that you have a beautiful day.
You too.
All
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So,
yes, that brings us to the end of our show this morning. Happy Tuesday, guys. Happy Tuesday. Remember to live your life with purpose, and as usual, we'd like to leave you with a quote to propel your day into greatness. So this one is by Tom Bodett, American author, actor, and beloved NPR radio host. So they say a person needs just 3 things to be truly happy in this world: someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. Again, they say a person needs just 3 things to be happy in this world: someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for.
I love that. I really do.
Hope is an amazing thing. If you don't have hope, then what do you have?
Yeah, and love. Love is the one thing in this life I think that we need. It's something that it can make us or break us, and that is the beauty of love. So having someone to love or even to be loved, and that's...
It's amazing. Even the Bible talks about it. The greatest of all is love.
Love, yeah.
So someone to love, something to do, and something to hope for. All I can hope for you is that you find those three things for yourselves. And as always, remember that you can find us on YouTube or Facebook, or even head to wesncc.com to leave your comments and suggestions for us to engage with you. Engage with us now, and maybe your comments can be featured here on AM Prime.
Yes. So stay safe, stay inspired, and we'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
WESN